Hi, my name is Wally. I'm 43 years old. I was born on March 5th on my mother's birthday. And I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake is a great place. Been here my whole life. I've lived in California for a couple years, lived in Illinois for a little bit. But for the most part, I spent most of my time in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake is, as you may have heard, has a big lake that's filled with salt. That's the reason for the name. But I have a friend who actually flies airplanes, and there's a lot of shrimp harvesting that's done out of the Great Salt Lake. And one time I went up in the airplane with him as a spotter for shrimp, and what would happen is we would look at the shrimp. They would come to the top of the water, and we would look down and spot the shrimp and then radio down to the boats, and they would go and harvest the shrimp. And it was a really interesting experience because there are a bunch of airplanes in the air flying overhead and boats down on the lake. And from what I understand, it's the world's best place to harvest brine shrimp. And so that's kind of an interesting fact about Salt Lake City. I went to Brighton High School, which is at the mouth of Big Cottonwood Canyon. We have a lot of big mountains around here. I graduated in 1986. I loved high school, was the class clown, and loved to be around my friends and had a good time there at school. After high school, I served a mission for my church, went to California, spent some time in Napa Valley, California, which is famous for wine. It's often called the wine country. It's a beautiful, beautiful place with green rolling hills. I loved my experience there, was able to meet a lot of good people and had some good times there in Napa Valley. Currently, I actually own a background screening company. I do pre-employment screening for businesses. We do drug testing and criminal background investigations. We make sure that criminals are kept out of the workplace so that employers can make good hiring decisions and live, be fine with the fact that they aren't hiring criminals. As far as any of my hobbies and skills, I love to play basketball, love sports, love to go four-wheeling up in the mountains. I love camping and hiking. I have two kids. They live in Nebraska. My son is an avid Huskers fan. Football is really big in Nebraska, and he's a huge football fan. And usually on game day, he'll be sitting at the game, and I'll be watching it on TV, and we'll be texting each other on our telephones about each play. And so it's been kind of interesting to have that type of a relationship with him. It's been really fun. And my daughter, Sunny, she lives in Nebraska as well, and she is graduating from high school this December. And they're coming out to visit me for Christmas. I'm really excited to see them. I actually have 12 siblings. I am right in the middle of, I have 6 older and 6 younger siblings, so there's 13 of us. Come from a very large family. It's kind of an interesting thing about me, and spend a lot of time with them, especially around the holidays. It's always good to get together. Another interesting thing is a lot of my siblings have a lot of kids too, so I've got 48 nieces and nephews, and so I spend a lot of time with them. So now you know a little bit about me.